This past week, we've seen some dramatic images come out of the transition of power in Afghanistan. This has really shed light on some grievous errors and mistakes that have been made. And the simple fact is right now, we're facing a human tragedy, and we're going to watch that unfold over the next few months and few years. When I think of what's happening in Afghanistan in light of the refugee situation, because immigration is what I do, I see a couple factors that I think I want to point out and some things I want to say in regards to what this administration has done. I think there's been a very, very big mistake in the exit strategy. I'm not there. I don't know what information the president had and his organization had, but clearly there's been a mistake because at the time the U.S. exited and left just a couple days ago, there were over 20,000 people on a list for SIV, Special Immigrant Visas, which is also called the P2 Humanitarian Visa, and they were still being vetted and processed. Now, if you know immigration like I do, you know one thing that they're very good at, it is backlogs. It is delays, it is waits, it is just not doing anything on time. Immigration is a classic bureaucratic organization in that it has a very specific process that must be followed step by step by step, from name, address information to biometrics and so forth. What we're seeing is throngs of people who believe they fit into the process or believe they should be part of the process, flooding the airport, waiting, and not being able to get access to the planes or not being allowed to leave Afghanistan. The war in Afghanistan has been 20 years. The fact that we're leaving behind a country in shambles is partly something that is the fault of the American government, the American people. It does put upon us a moral responsibility to at least react in a way that recognizes there are human interests that are left aside that should be addressed and are part of our responsibility. I've looked a little bit at some of the information out there online, and the comparison we have is to Vietnam. After Vietnam, some 120,000 refugees were immediately assisted by the United States to exit and leave the country so that they were not subjected to the new regime. Thereafter, it turns out about 1.2 million more Vietnamese refugees were able to leave Vietnam and then come to the United States and actually immigrate to the United States in a refugee program. Some of that was the United Nations, some of that the United States, and some other programs that existed, including some of them were just boat people who arrived on our shores. So we know, right, we already know how these things unfold. We know how they go. Today, the situation is very, very bad with the P2 humanitarian visa backlogged, and individuals who fit into the categories, okay, the 4 categories in the P2 visa, which are translators, interpreters, or staff, that helped at 4 different levels, okay, including working with NGOs that were U.S. government or U.S. government-based programs. And we know from the phone calls that we're getting that people are stuck. So at this point, I think it's the Biden administration that needs to step up and make changes. I think the Biden administration needs to address this problem, and I think they need to make deals with some other countries to get these people out to third countries to await processing for the P2 visa. It's simply not going to work to just say we'll get them out at some point in the future. We already know people left behind who aided the United States are going to be targeted. I don't think that's an ambiguity, all right? And I think these people deserve the help of the United States administration. We have sent some tweets and we're pointing the information out that the Biden administration needs to take this on and take it seriously and address this problem in the best way that we can. I have high hopes that some aid will start coming. I know Canada is accepting 20,000 refugees. I believe the United States is going to be accepting a lot more over time. We'll update you here with more information as we get it and with some stories of some of our clients and the stories that we hear so you can get a real feel for what's going on over in Afghanistan. That's it for today. Hope you're well. Talk to you soon. Bye.